are back. I do not know. I mean, usually when something like that happens, I'll actually get a notice. You get the blue screen of death. Your computer crashed, that type of thing. You get a reboot. But in this particular case, it did not crash. Computer just shut off. It just as if but there was no power outage because the lights are all still on. The lights didn't even flicker. And this is a laptop. It has a battery. So even if the power did go off, because I have it plugged in, but even if the power did go off, the battery would still pick it up. Right? I mean, it would be running on the battery, and there wouldn't be any interruption. And the web would go down too. The internet connection would be disrupted. But none of that was it. Just the computer just shut off. It just went from being active to nothing. Not even any sound. It just went poof. That's only happened once before, where the computer just usually if something either the Spreaker program or the computer just crashes. Either the Spreaker program crashes or the computer crashes and you got to reboot. But the only time that this has only happened once before. Now I have to admit, on other computers, the same thing has happened before. While broadcasting, never at any other time, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but every time either whether it be a desktop or whether it be a laptop, every time that it has just shut off, it has been during a broadcasting of this program. It doesn't matter what time of day I'm broadcasting, because there were times in this program's history where I was broadcasting in the evening, at between 6 and 9 p.m. And every time that computers just no crashing, just shutting off for no apparent reason, every single time it has been during a broadcast of the show. Going all the way back to 2010. Now, I started broadcasting in 2009, but something like that first happened in 2010, and I didn't even think anything of it. But now that I'm thinking about it, it just happened again. I'm thinking, what the hell? Why would, 4 different computers, the only time they would just automatically shut down, not on timers, just shut off, is during the broadcast of this program. And it's kind of odd that it also happened at the time when Agent 0010 was going to tell us about a particular thing that is happening between ISIS and Hamas. I just find all that kind of stuff really kind of interesting and tricky. So I think I've given people enough time to try to log back on. So we're going to bring the agent back on so he can discuss with us exactly what the hell is going on between ISIS and Hamas. Welcome back, Agent. Hopefully you're still there.
I'm still here. Are you still there?
Yeah. So far, haven't had anybody come knocking on my door to try to take, say, go away.
All right, let me get right to the story. Okay, you partially touched on the situation. You said that Egypt, or the Egyptian government, and the Israeli government are now becoming much more friendly, and that Egypt is basically upholding all treaties and agreements that they have with Israel. Well, another aspect is I did say the Egyptian branch of ISIS. The problem is that they're not happy with the Egyptian government sticking to their agreements with Israel. And they're also extremely unhappy that Hamas is doing absolutely nothing to step up their campaign against Israel. Now, not only that, but it's also they have separate Islamic ideologies. Both of them have different beliefs when it comes to Islam. And ISIS feels that this is uncalled for and needs to be resolved by thus completely eliminating Hamas. They want Hamas eliminated or absorbed into ISIS. And right now, it's a simple case that they are expected to knock the hell out of each other in the Sinai. And then if ISIS is victorious against Hamas in the Sinai, where they do have training camps, they do have installations, then they're going to go up into Lebanon, and then take on Hamas on its own home turf.
And this is all because of Because now, why would I thought that they had the same type of goal and they all thought the same. Why would they all of a sudden really turn their guns on each other?
It's not even a fact that Hamas is turning their guns on to ISIS. It's a fact that ISIS is doing it to Hamas. Now, the situation is this. ISIS is an army. I don't care what anybody says. They are a standing army. They've met the enemy on the battlefield. They have gone after the enemy on the battlefield. They have occupied land through conquest. So they are an army, period. Hamas, on the other hand, is a subversive group. They are more black ops, you might say. They conduct certain things. Even though they do fire rockets into Israel, they're not an army per se. They are an organization or a terrorist organization. So ISIS believes that Hamas, Hezbollah, Akim, PKK, all these organizations need to be unified and become an army and steamroll across the Middle East all the way from the most eastern border of Iran all the way through to the most western border of Israel.
So right now, I guess ISIS might really want these sort of groups to become a real standing army with them because ISIS has 70, 80, 90% of them have been killed now. What is the number? 80,000 ISIS dead now in the past year? That's a lot. Yeah. Why aren't we hearing about that? Because that's huge.
ISIS was so victorious in Iraq and Syria because of Barack Obama, because of him pulling out the troops and actually saying when we're going to do it and how we're going to do it. Well, it's basically tipping off the enemy on what's going to happen so that way they can plan their strategies around these dates on how to actually come blasting through and take what they want, because the only organization that could stand up against them toe-to-toe and basically slaughter them is being pulled out. Now, when they came out of Mosul, okay, which is the true birthplace of ISIS, when they came out of Mosul, nobody expected them to come out as forceful as they did. But they did. And every time somebody tried to make an agreement with ISIS at the time to be a friend of the United States, ISIS was like, yeah, sure. And then they did whatever the hell they wanted. Because they're doing the same thing in Syria. We armed the ISIS branch of Syria. We armed them. We trained them. We supplied them with the equipment they needed because they were going to be our friends. That never happened. In fact, I think it was Senator Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii. Even she came back from her tour in Syria and said, we're arming them. What are we doing? We need to stop this. And she's a Democrat. So the fact remains is that ISIS wants to rebuild their army, and the Egyptian branch of ISIS is trying to step up and make this happen.
Wow. So who else in the area could ISIS possibly get them to have people turn their backs on them on? Because in order to go after Hamas, you're going to have to start going in civilian well, it's not like ISIS is afraid to do that anyway, but they're going to have to go into civilian populated areas, and innocent people are going to start dying. Do you think how are other places like Egypt and Israel going to handle this? Because they're going to have to contain this without it bleeding over into their populations.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be a simple case. Israeli intelligence is supreme. Israeli intelligence also have a free hand. So Israeli intelligence can weed these people out, these individuals or these cells out, and basically turn them into shredded wheat. Because don't forget one thing, if ISIS comes storming through and the Palestinian civilians that support Hamas or Hezbollah stand up against ISIS, they are going to be murdered. And even those that don't want anything to do with Hamas or anything to do with Hezbollah and especially anything to do with ISIS, those are the ones that are going to particularly suffer because they're Palestinians, they're Muslims. They should be supporting ISIS. So if you don't support ISIS, you're an enemy. So you will die.
Well, that is definitely a. I don't think there are very few people out there that either knew it or took it seriously that ISIS would do that with a terror organization known as Hamas or any of the others that you mentioned that they would turn. But again, there's no love among thieves. So if you're an evil organization bent on evil conquest, then whoever doesn't agree with you exactly the way you think that they should is going to become your enemy at the same time. So, well,
exactly.
All I can say is
now,
good luck with that, ISIS. I mean, Hamas.
Now, here's the next story.
Let's be real here. Hamas has been around for a long time. They're not stupid people. So good luck with that war on Hamas, ISIS. So yeah, okay. What else you got?
All right. So the next story, real quick. Rod, if I come up to you and I say, "Hey, Rod, that project we've been working on, we really need to buckle down. It's not coming through. We just really need to buckle down. We just need to get something done." What would your reply be?
Well, my reply would be, we're not just going to get something done and get it done. We're going to do it right.
Okay, now, the president of the UN General Assembly, he went to the Middle East and he had a little speech and he said, we are falling short of our goal of cleaning and maintaining our environment, our climate change. It's drastic. We're just falling short on our efforts. And when he was asked, so what do you need? He said, about $100 billion a year. Okay, effort is one thing. A year. Yes, he wants an additional $100 billion a year to work on climate change and preventing it. These were his freaking words, not mine, ladies and gentlemen. And I am not making this up.
And who
Look
was he expecting to
And he just stood there.
Who was he expecting to give up the
Oh, no, he was in... Oh, he was in the UAE. He gave this little speech at the UAE. But
so he was expecting
Europe
basically and the USA to pony up to the climate bar and give a tip of $100 billion a year.
Bingo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but climate change. Okay, you go on TV and you tell the people of your country, hey, guess what? Can we do carpooling? Can we use the car less? Oh, by the way, can we do this or can we do that? Hey, guess what? We are going to have companies, industry, research into how to burn clean coal, how coal can be burned at almost 100% clean. We're going to let the industries do that. That doesn't take a dime. That doesn't take a plug nickel to do that. Where are we coming up with $100 billion a year?
It's all about raping and fleecing the West in order to because look, the UN believes what Obama believed. That the United States and Western Europe are at the heart of all of the world's ills, and if it wasn't for the United States and Western Europe, the world would be a great place. And it's unfair that we're so advanced now, and much of the rest of the world is nowhere near advanced as we are. So it's quite a shock to liberals when they go to some of these places that are outside of the U.S. and North America and outside of East or Western Europe and find that, hey, these places have cell phone coverage better than in the U.S. in some countries. These places have internet access faster than what's available in the U.S. in some countries. They have great, well, not as good as medical care, but they have adequate and great medical care. Doctors aren't, they're not pricking people's feet and putting leeches on them in order to cure them. They're actually using real medicine. and real procedures. And they're shocked by a lot of this stuff. I can't believe that they're this advanced. Why would you be shocked? Because you believed all the nonsense that the West is superior, and that superiority has caused them to be mean to the rest of the world and not share their knowledge with the rest of the world. That's what they believe. So when they go to these places and actually see that, yeah, the knowledge of the West is actually out there in the East and the South and the in-between and every place else, I mean, it shocks them. So, yeah, why would we need $1 billion, $100 billion for these places?
Well, the fact still remains is that when he gave this lecture, it was a closed-door lecture to a very select group of individuals from the UAE and from some other countries. The press was not allowed to be there. It wasn't sold by tickets. It was an extremely select group of individuals that were invited. Even though the auditorium was filled, when the president of the UN General Assembly says, "Hey, I want to talk to you," people will show up, and they do want to hear what he has to say. So when he gave this speech, I'm sorry, I read this and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Serious? I mean, what people don't seem to understand is that the clean energy community can be expanded. It's not just solar. It's not just wind. It could also include clean burning coal. How can this be done? Very simple. If you have people that are researching and working on burning the coal to almost 100% clean, where it will not affect the environment, you are now building a new industry, or you are taking an old industry and you are enhancing it. But in order to do this, you're also going to need what? People to do it. People to actually work on burning clean coal, which also means what? High employment. People will be hired. You are now expanding the clean energy aspect. So for people to be so narrow-minded and only look at look at wind and solar as the only clean energy concepts is ridiculous. Clean energy can be expanded. Clean energy can include oil. Clean energy can include coal. So stop being so narrow-minded. Stop being so high and mighty on your high horse and thinking that you're superior morally and intellectually, because right now you're being a narrow-minded, feeble-minded dipstick.
Well, that goes along with people who believe that the electric car is going to be the panacea and fix everything. And I try to explain that electric cars have to run on electricity. You're going to have to build more electric power plants. So what are you going to run those power plants on? I get all these people telling me, well, we don't need any more power plants. Just a few. What? Wait a minute. You're going to replace... You're going to replace all the cars on the world's roads, and you're going to think that you're not going to need additional power plants to power them. Oh, I even had one idiot tell me, well, at some points in the day, what you can actually have is cars being plugged into the grid and feeding power back. Like, well, then how are these people going to get home from work? That means they're going to have to wait for these things to recharge and take the power back out of the grid. This is nonsense. Do any of these people really think ahead?
No, because they're only listening to what sounds good. They're not They don't bother to understand what has to lead up to this situation, what leads up to that. They don't look at the background. They just look at the goal. Well, guess what? Between the starting line and the goal, you got a long way to travel, and you can't ignore that. And many people are. And that's the situation where their feelings get hurt when people tell them, you're a dumbass.
Well, so, we're going to need the equivalent of thousands. And when I tell them this, I had somebody tell me, well, I saw a report on Wikipedia. Like, really? I mean, I've seen more than one report, and these reports have been not only on conservative sites, but liberal sites too, and climate change sites, citing the fact that we would need... if we just converted 50% of the United States cars to electric, we would need literally thousands of more electric power generating plants. Okay, so
yeah,
you have Wikipedia, and I have a plethora of scientific reports, both liberal and conservative, saying the opposite. Okay, we'll go with Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yep, sure, why not? Let's look even dumber than what we already are. Okay, now, I've been telling people I'm going to talk about this today, and I have to say this. Ever since Manning decided, I'm going to run for office. Okay, you know what? Let's put this out there. Years ago, when I was stationed at Fort Meade in Maryland, I was a member of the CSS branch of the National Security Agency, but I was still a member of the United States Army. As many members of the United States military that work with other agencies. I mean, it's a fact. It's truth. So one evening, I had to go deploy for another mission. So I was late. It was a long day of dealing with briefings, debriefings, filling out paperwork before leaving. I went to the gym and I worked out. And this was around 8 o'clock at night.
Hold on a second. We gotta get to the top of the hour hard break. We're gonna hold you over until after the top of the hour break because of our little unannounced break that we just had. So don't go anywhere, Agent. We'll be right back.
I will. Okay.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Let's rock this joint!
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Number 3, even with that little bit of a glitch at the bottom of the last hour, we are back here for hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio, which is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live one more time on this day, this Wednesday, Hump Day, January number 17, in the year of our Lord 2018, which is also being broadcast to you from the wonderful Granite State. From the grand and absolutely humongous and vast bunkerized home studio, which is located within that state. Yes, indeed. And for those of you who hear the sarcasm in my voice, you know exactly what I mean by large and grand. Nah, it's average size. It's not tiny. I'm not hunched over anywhere in a literal underground bunker. There are some people who think I'm in an underground bunker somewhere. I mean, really? I didn't say bunker studio. I said bunkerized. But there are people who think that I'm. Well, you can't fix stupid. In any case, what? Let's get right to it because we still got a lot to cover. But we had to hold over for the first time ever. We had to hold over Agent 0010. Hopefully he's switched telephone booths because that's where he goes to public telephone booths when he's calling in his report. So he had to switch them in order to continue broadcasting with me this morning. So he's at a new telephone booth so he can continue on talking about one that used to go by the name of Bradley Manning, who is now Chelsea Manning. Welcome back, Agent. So what is it before we were so rudely interrupted by a Profit Center break? that we had to that you were going to say about Bradley Chelsea Manning? I'm still going to call him Bradley.
I'll just go with the last name. It's a military thing. But anyway, so like I was saying, I was getting ready to go deploy on another mission. And it was a long day. I had to fill out paperwork. I had to go to briefings. I had to be, just informed on certain situations, certain things, updated on certain people. Long day. Finally, around 8 o'clock at night, I'm working out at the gym. I had to do it back in the day. I did it religiously as often as I could whenever I was home or whenever I was on a mission. If I could, I'd work out. So I went, after my workout, around 9 o'clock, I went to the place called the smoke pit. Now, smoke pit, as we all know in the military, is where you go smoke. Yes, I smoke. Don't judge me. And the first sergeant, the company first sergeant, good friend of mine, fantastic guy, down to earth, hard charger, and in all honesty, brilliant mind, but very down to earth. Came over to the smoke pit, aggravated as hell, and I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I got this one soldier. He received orders for deployment. He refuses to deploy. I said, conscientious objector? He goes, no paperwork. Never checked off that little box on his contract. See, ladies and gentlemen, when you enlist in the United States Army, I don't know about the other armed forces, but in the United States Army, when you enlist, there's this little checkbox. The recruiter goes down this document, one box at a time, and one of the questions the recruiter asks you, are you a conscientious objector? If you say yes, and he checks off yes, you can still have a career in the military. You're just going to be admin, or you're going to be working in some kind of aspect where you will not see combat, and the possibilities of you being deployed are extremely low. So Manning never said he was a conscientious objector. So I talked to him, I'm like, so what's the kid's deal? Oh, excuse after excuse. First, it's college. And I'm like, yeah, they have internet downrange. It's not the fastest, but they have internet downrange. He goes, exactly. That's the problem. I'm like, what do you mean that's the problem? He goes, after talking to this kid for hours, I finally got the truth out of him. I'm like, so what's the truth? He doesn't want to deploy because his little online gang that plays video games online together need him. My reaction was like, you have got to be shitting me. Said, no, that is the reason why. Said, do you want me to talk to this kid? Maybe I can make him see the light. He goes, we've all tried. I'm like, yeah, but I'm an outsider. I'm basically an outsider. I'm not part of your company. I'm not part of your battalion. I'll talk to him. He goes, okay, fine. The next day, I met with this kid at the smoke pit because to me that was neutral ground. It was not threatening. It was relaxing place. Talked to him. And I tried to make him see the light. I said, listen, you signed this contract. You swore that you would defend the United States, that you would obey your commands as long as they were legal and lawful. You're going back on that. Nobody forced you to sign the dotted line. Nobody forced you to raise your hand. Oh, but no, my colleagues are like, don't do that. Please don't do that. Do not insult my intelligence. I've already been told the reason why you don't want to go. Because of your little online gang. His response was, but they do need me. And I don't want to go. I don't want to deploy. I'm like, dude, you're going to have to deploy. You're going to deploy. End of story. Here's the reason why Bradley Manning took over 750,000 documents, not including the videos also released to WikiLeaks. Manning had a temper tantrum. Manning was angry and pissed off that this individual was forced to do their job. He was never going to go outside the wire because of his job. Never. He was going to remain on the installation the entire time where it was safe. Manning was never going to go on patrol. Manning was never going to go on convoy. Manning was never going to kick in a door. Manning was never going to fire a shot in anger or in defense. Manning had a temper tantrum. Now, the excuse of, oh, I wanted the world to see the war crimes being committed by the United States. Here's the problem. After reviewing everything, because everything that Manning had released to WikiLeaks had been reviewed, not just by the United States Army, but by the United States government, by NATO, and by the United Nations, there were no war crimes being committed. There was zero evidence of any war crimes being committed by the United States military in anything that he had released. Manning did it to have a temper tantrum, pissed off that they had to deploy. That is the real reason why Bradley Manning did what they did, by committing treason. There is no other excuse. There is no other reason. It was all a childish temper tantrum.
Well,
That's
is a
it.
millennial. He is a millennial.
Not a hero.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Manning is not a hero.
Let's give the kid a benefit of the doubt. He's kind of a little guy. What is he, like 5'6"?
See,
he was scared
that's the
to
thing,
go out
okay?
there.
When I came back, Manning, here's the problem, okay? Manning is short. Manning is frail, okay? But in the intelligence world, in the world of intelligence, in the United States military, your size, your PT score, none of that matters. The only thing they care about is your brain power. They don't care if you're gay. Everybody knew Manning was gay. I knew Manning was gay. I didn't care. I really didn't. Nobody cared. And that was one of the excuses that Manning brought up. Oh, the Army mistreats me. Oh, it was war crimes. Well, which one is it? Did you have this epiphany that you wanted justice, or were you just upset because you were gay, because nobody cared? I knew, like I said, I knew Manning was gay. I didn't care who he dated. I don't care who Manning went out with. I don't care. All I cared about was Manning's brain power. And Manning's first sergeant also knew Manning was gay. And Manning's first sergeant also didn't care. Live and let live. So therefore, every excuse, and what convicted Manning was the fact that it was brought out in court that it was a temper tantrum. That is what convicted Manning. And Manning's defense attorney also knew the same thing. That's why Manning's attorney said, well, we're going to have to plead guilty, but we're going to have to cover up the fact that you had a temper tantrum. It wasn't a case of, bringing out the truth for the sake of justice. It wasn't bringing out the truth because you're gay.
Well,
nothing else other than the fact that.
Did he feel at all that if he released these documents that he wasn't going to have to deploy? Or, I mean, what was usually there's got to be some in game to it. Temper tantrum usually means, well, I'm going to get my way if I throw this temper tantrum. But how did he possibly think he was still going to get his way? I mean, he was still going to have to deploy, was he not? Or did he?
It wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't a case of getting his way. It's a case of payback. You made me deploy. I'm going to embarrass you.
Okay. Well, and so
that's it.
So the former president Barack Hussein Obama now commutes and pardons his sentence. I forget which one it was. It was a commutation, right? He'd already he's served it. So wait, if Bradley Manning was not pardoned, I'm sorry, Chelsea Manning, whatever. If he wasn't pardoned from his crime and only had his sentence commuted, how can he run for Senate? He's a felon.
In the state of Maryland, it's okay. And that's the state that Manning is running for. But the problem is, though, that when Manning goes up to get another security clearance because of being a member, if elected into office, can't get one. You can't get one. You were not pardoned. So therefore, you were sentenced for basically treason. you can never get a security clearance.
Now I wonder how many other people picked up on that. I'm sorry it took me a while to just actually figure that one out, but it took me a day or two after learning that he was running that to realize, wait, he was not pardoned, he was commuted, had his sentence commuted, which means his crime, his conviction still stands, which means he's still a felon.
Yeah.
Convicted felon, which means, well, I don't know the rules in Maryland, but okay, evidently he can do it. So I don't think he can run in my state as a convicted felon.
Maryland is also the same state that just allowed a whole bunch of felons still incarcerated to register to vote.
Well, that means that that means that he'll most likely, if he actually does run, I mean, I know he's filing for it, but if he actually does run, that means he'll most likely be elected. And good for Baltimore. They can have a treasonous criminal sex change gay person being their representative. Not that he's gay, it doesn't bother me either. I mean, that's it's none of my business who he wants to sleep with, but don't try to pretend to be. Now, well, I guess he's really not gay anymore if he's a girl. Right now he's straight. Is that how it works?
Look, I have no idea. I'm not going to try to figure that one out because that's above my pay grade. But the fact still remains is that here's an individual that decided to get revenge with the United States Army for being made to do their job and deploy, and released all these documents. So this whole thing about Manning being a hero, no, it's a child. This whole thing about Manning seeking justice, no, it was revenge, not justice. This whole thing about Manning being brave, no, Manning is a coward, plain and simple. Because everybody's like, well, look, change his name from Bradley to Chelsea. So what? What about Sonny Bono's child, Chaz Bono? She went from being Chaz Bono's daughter to Chaz Bono's son when it wasn't popular, when it was supposedly unacceptable, when it was disgraceful. That is courage. That is bravery. That is going out and just living life for yourself. So anybody that says, oh, they're so brave they came out. No, they're not. No, that is not bravery. The ones that suffered in the past, that knew that they were going to be chastised, ridiculed, and persecuted, and they still did it anyway. That is bravery. Manning is a coward. Period. That's it.
No, not gonna argue with you on that. I happen to agree. In any case, all right. So thank you so much for this week's mind-blowing report, Agent. As always, as you're out there going about your day and your life, be safe.
Not a problem, and you all have a great one, and it was, again, a pleasure. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, go to your Twitter account and just sign up for Code of Vets. Awesome people, fantastic people. Gretchen Smith, she rocks. Okay? You all have a great one.
All right. Talk to you soon. Talk to you next week. All right, folks. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
When it comes to Bradley Manning actually being elected and representing the state of Maryland, because he can't get a security clearance, there are a number of different committees that he can't be a part of because they require security clearances. There are a number of different briefings that he couldn't be a part of because he would need a security clearance. So how would he be able to vote on any and represent his state accurately in any of these? Well, he's just going to be a yes vote. For a yes man for the Democrat Party. That's all it is. But is there any guys out there who would look at Chelsea Manning and think that I'm just going to say it. Would you think that she's cute? Now, personally, I still see a guy in makeup whenever I see pictures of him today. I do. I'm sorry, I just do. So no, I wouldn't. I don't think that kind of masculine femininity or feminine masculinity. I'm not sure which way it would go. Yeah, I'm just confused. Yeah, like most people. At this juncture, I would venture to guess that there are a lot of gay men and lesbian women out there, along with straight people, who are extremely confused about this whole sexual, transgendered, trans this, trans that issue. And did Manning actually go through this whole process to help? There are people that think that he went through this, decided to be this transgender person in order to elicit sympathy, in order to what he was really gunning for was a pardon. And he was trying to elicit sympathy for a pardon, and Obama just gave him a commutation. So, but he took it, obviously. I don't. No judgment here, none. You know, we conservatives can be judgmental free too, and the only reason why this would be a judgment free zone is just because it's not really worth our fatiguing our brain, even a single brain cell on thinking about this guy or this whole issue. Really, seriously.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome back. Yes, our time clock is thrown off just a slight tad because of the forced bump back at the last hour at this particular point in time. So we just thought we'd handle it and take care of everything. Try to keep things moving along because we still have the holidays for today to get through. So I want to get through we'll do that first. We'll get through the holidays of today, which is January number 17. Today, there's a few today. There's a few. There have been days where there have been a lot more, but not as few as yet. I think there was only 3 yesterday, but so there's a few today. Today is Customer Service Day, so you celebrate by celebrating a customer service agent today. It's also Ben Franklin Day. Founding Father Benjamin Franklin was born on this day in 1706 in Boston, making it actually Benjamin Franklin's birthday. So it's Ben Franklin Day today, born 1706. What does that mean? He'd be well, he'd be like 216 years old if he were still alive today, somewhere around there. No, actually, older than that, 300. 300. I can't add this morning. Blessings of the animal at the Cathedral Day. So yes, today is a day if your parish participates in such a thing. Usually, Catholic, Episcopalian, Methodist, they might bless your pet. So today is blessing of the animals at the Cathedral Day. Take them into your local cathedral or parish to have your pet blessed. Now, I'm none of those denominations, so I can't really tell you if that's actually the case. But so check your local listings. Today is also Cable Car Day. Well, Baptist people don't bless pets. We don't. We just don't. Look, I love my cat. I'm not going to take good old Cooper into a local parish to have him blessed. It's not going to really do any good. So, but today is also Cable Car Day. Yes, you celebrate by getting on and riding your nearest local cable car. Now, I realize that some of you probably have to drive a few hundred miles in order to get to your nearest cable car, but you should do it because it is Cable Car Day. Yes, and it is also Kid Inventors Day. You know, there are a lot of adults have gotten inspiration. Adult inventors have gotten inspiration from children, or they've taken children's ideas and made them into. And there's even in some cases, where child inventors have actually had their inventions exploited by adult business and made the child rather wealthy. Oh, yeah. Notice that was sarcastic too, by the way, the exploitation part. Yes. It's also Hot Buttered Rum Day, of which I'm not a fan. So I will not be celebrating Hot Buttered Rum Day because I don't really like hot buttered rum all that much. But I don't like really, except for maybe Irish coffee. I really don't like warm or hot alcoholic beverages. It just, the hot toddies don't turn me on, and the wassail or wassail, not my thing. But if you like it today, then how do you celebrate? You celebrate by drinking lots of hot buttered rum on hot buttered rum day. Today is also Ditch New Year's Resolutions Day. It's also known as, a.k.a. Broken Resolution Day, because it has been scientifically and socially proven that the vast majority of people who are going to break their New Year's resolution has done so by this day, which is why you should not make resolutions. You should make goals, because it's a little bit more difficult to ditch your goals. It's really easy to ditch a resolution. I can get started any time in a resolution. I'll do it again next year. It is also, speaking on the heels of Hot Buttered Rum Day, it is also National Bootleggers Day. I wonder if there's going to be an expose or a marathon of moonshiners. Was it on TLC or is it on Discovery? One of those learning channels. So yeah, did you ever watch it? Yeah, going to teach my kid, going to teach him about life and how to make moonshine. Moonshine is really about life. But okay, so it's National Bootleggers Day. It is on. And this is on the heels. Yesterday, I think, was National Prohibition Remembrance Day or something. Was it yesterday or Monday? Earlier this week was Prohibition Remembrance Day. So kind of interesting that in the same week we'd have National Bootleggers Day. It is also National Hot Heads Chili Day. No further information is available except, it's just, I guess you're supposed to eat hot chili. Go out and find a ghost pepper, I guess, and that's how you're going to celebrate today. And finally, today is Judgment Day. Now, there isn't any real information about today other than it has to do with the God's calendar in the second month, and January is not really the first month of the year, it's the second month of the year or something like that. It's really, even Wikipedia really doesn't have any information on why today is Judgment Day. Not in the biblical sense. But anyway, so I guess you can be judgy today. Today of all days, you can be judgy. It's Judgment Day. So judge yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and judge yourself. Look your friends. Have your friends look in the mirror, and you look at your friends in the mirror and judge them. Have your enemies look in a mirror, and you look in that mirror too with them and judge them. So it all has to come down to looking into a mirror before you judge somebody. So I don't know, but there you have it. That's what I got from two sites. It has something to do with looking in the mirror. So have everybody that whomever you want to judge today, have them look into a mirror while you're looking into that same mirror. So that way you can judge them today. I'm just guessing that's the way it goes. So that is your holiday list for today, January number 17. I think I need theme music for the holiday list, don't I? I need to come up. Anybody got a theme song I could use for the holiday music or for the holiday report theme song? I'm just trying to think of one. Anybody come up with one? Okay. I'll put it out there to you listeners. If you got an idea what an appropriate theme, and no Christmas song. It cannot be. It's got to be a general holiday song. It shouldn't be a Christmas song because there aren't many other holidays out there, are there? Or songs for other holidays? I don't know. So just a general holiday song, I guess. Maybe a Hanukkah song. Maybe that would work. I don't know. Anyway, if you come up with one, let me know and we'll look. Yeah, Hawaii evidently isn't the only place where fake North Korea ballistic incoming missiles reports and warnings get issued. Evidently, this one went under the wire here in this country, at least. A Japanese broadcaster in Japan sends a false North Korean missile alert as well yesterday. Japanese public broadcaster NHK issued an on-air apology yesterday afternoon after issuing an alert incorrectly claiming that North Korea had launched a missile at them. Now, why all of a sudden we have all this time? Didn't North Korea just agree to sit down at the negotiating table? Didn't North Korea just, with South Korea, didn't North Korea just say that they were going to join the athletes in Seoul? They were going to join up, and the South Korean and North Korean athletes were going to join up and walk across as one united athletic nation, I guess. And yet we have all these wonderful people on the leftists, I guess. I don't know. We have all these people who are still scared to death. I thought Kim Jong. Who is this? Il or Un? Why do I always get these people? He's Un. He's the one Kim. So we have everybody should be Kim Jong-un. They should be loving him now because he's going to the Olympics. He's agreed to sit that big bad mean bully Trump didn't cause him to launch. He wasn't poked by a big blonde bear. He didn't fall for it. In fact, now he's so smart like Obama that he's manipulated everybody into getting back to the negotiating table. And he's even negotiated the possibility of having North Korean athletes come to the Winter Olympics in about a month. And not only that, but during the opening games, they would actually march with the South Korean athletes as one united Korean Athletic Association. So why are we setting off all of these false alarms about North Korea shooting missiles? He's so nice and benevolent, right? Trump's the big bad meanie. So how is it that everybody's is so twitchy that they're going to set off these alarms on incoming missiles from North Korea? Not anywhere else. No incoming missiles coming from Russia or China or Taiwan or any other place. Any other bad place. No incoming, Uyghur missiles. No, everybody remember the Uyghurs, right, from Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo. So we've got no incoming Uyghur missiles. We've got no incoming ISIS missiles. No incoming Iranian missiles. No, everybody is concerned about North Korean missiles. Evidently, they're so concerned and so worried about it that the slightest hint, their fingers are twitching above the warning button because the slightest hint of a North Korean missile, and they're going to press that button, man. And whatever, they're jumpy and skittish. So if somebody says hi the wrong way, evidently this is how it all happens. They're sitting there daily just looking at that screen or whatever screens they happen to be looking at with their hands floating over that warning button, and it's twitching, and they're nervous as hell because any minute now, any second now, there could be a launch, and you walk into that door and you say hi, and they jump, and boom, they hit the button, and there it is. That must be it. That must be the case, because otherwise, why would they be so scared? Why would they have their fingers so close to the button? Why are we getting so many false alarms to missile launches? I mean, after all, it's a good thing that President Trump didn't launch on North Korea because of the Hawaii misfortune. Because after all, the president doesn't listen to his military staff about launches. Hey, Hawaii is saying that there's a North Korean ballistic missile heading into their direction. What say you, military? Mr. President, sir, we have no detection, repeat, no detection from anywhere on the planet of a North Korean launch of any kind, sir. But Hawaii says they're coming in, so let's retaliate. And said no president ever. Just trying to figure out why these people are just so skittish about everything. Hey, folks, are you invested in this Bitcoin stuff? And this is not a commercial for Bitcoin. This is a warning. Again, I'm being. Now we'll have to see in the long run if I'm right. But so far, I'm being proven right about my concerns about cryptocurrency. Now, here we are. We've got something called news.com.au. That's not Australia. Is that Australia? It's not Austria. That's Australia, I think. It's English speaking. In any case, we got some news about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. $260 billion crypto collapse is on the horizon as cryptos plunge another 30% amid fresh China and South Korea fears. Now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and other virtual currencies have been smashed overnight in a bloodbath of titanic proportions, so says the report. Cryptocurrencies market has lost some $206 billion US overnight in value in what traders are describing as a a crypto collapse. Apocalypse, cryptocalypse, however you want to be correct. Cryptocalypse, that's how you pronounce it. With Bitcoin heading back towards its $10,000 U.S. value milestone first reached last November. But it was the smaller currencies, including Ripple, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, that were the hardest hit in the latest sell-off, which was sparked by fresh fears of a crackdown on virtual currencies by governments in South Korea and China. If China were to squeeze or cut off Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, that would be a huge, devastating blow. Huge. Now, I've warned people about this. Told them that look, I am not the only one who's looking out across this cryptocurrency landscape and seeing regulation and banning in various countries coming this year. Obviously, there are other people that are in the know, that are looking at this and watching this and fearing this as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I did mention that South Korea was one of those countries looking at banning or heavily regulating cryptocurrencies. And China, I know I mentioned China a number of times, so this is nothing new for people who listen to this program. But they're not just the only two. The U.S. is looking at possibly extensively heavily regulating. Now, who's going to end up regulating this current? I don't know. Could be one of a number of different. It doesn't even have to be Congress to get in the act. It could just be one of a number of regulatory agencies. Could be the FCC could regulate it. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, could regulate it. The Banking Commission could regulate it. The Fed itself, the very private, corporate, public bank that prints our money, the Federal Reserve could regulate it. There are a number of different, the Treasury Department could regulate it. The Commerce Department, which isn't part of Treasury, I know, but the Commerce Department could regulate it. Congress could regulate it. It's if you're in the cryptocurrency, I would suggest that you get out.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
There were some people in the wonderful out there in wonderful Californication land that were trying to do a good deed, and they got arrested. Yes, El Cajon, El Cajon, is it Cajon? El Cajon police officers arrested about a dozen people for feeding the homeless at a city park. This past Sunday afternoon. Yes, the event was organized by a group called Break the Band, which formed after the El Cajon City Council unanimously passed an emergency ordinance in October prohibiting the distribution of food on any city-owned property. Now, folks, this is a liberal community, by the way. Now, just pay attention to this. City officials said the ordinance was a way to protect the public from hepatitis A, but critics have called it a punitive measure to dehumanize and criminalize the homeless. Mark Lane, one of the event's organizers, said about 12 to 15 people were passing out food and toiletries to the harmless at Wells Park on East Madison Avenue when police arrived. Yes, because we know we're trying to protect the homeless from and the public from hepatitis A. Because, after all, we know that homeless people have absolutely superb A1 5-star personal hygiene status. Absolutely. And we can't, the fathers, the political fathers of El Cajon, California, cannot put the health of homeless people at risk by actually feeding them. They may be starving, but that's healthier than actually getting real food. I'm just unbelievable the idiocy that these people. Well, this is what you folks want out there evidently. Look, if you want to. Don't come to us complaining and saying that this is conservatives don't like homeless people and conservatives don't like poor people and conservatives don't. It's really the Democrats and the liberals that don't like them. Because every time that somebody goes out there, whether they be a liberal or a conservative, goes out there to actually help the downtrodden, the disadvantaged, the poor, the homeless, we get some sort of liberal town fathers getting in our way, saying, no, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't help them there, you can't help them with that. If you want to help them in this area, you're going to have to pay a hefty fine or licensing fee. And this is ridiculous. Also, finally today, Ohio State University course reprimands white heterosexual masculinity. I wonder if Chelsea Manning is going to be one of the professors in this. Yes, I went there. Masculinity simultaneously harms yet privilegizes, I guess, men. So masculinity harms men, but it gives them privileges simply because they're men. Now, I don't know the last time that. Can we get back to Tim Allen, please? You know, the arr, 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 arr type of thing. A class taught this spring, going on this spring at Ohio State University, is going to review a parade of reasons why white heterosexual masculinity is allegedly painful and harmful to men. It's problematic. It's bullying. It's according to pop culture, it's just be a man and ban masculinity. Well, how can you be a man and ban masculinity? I don't know how that's possible, folks. I really don't. I try to understand. There is no understanding these people. But in any case, I do understand the clock, and the clock is saying that we are out of time for today, but we will be back here tomorrow. So tune in about 21 hours. Until then, have a wonderful hump day. Enjoy your Wednesday afternoon. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is, what they done, or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.